past haunts us all, whether it be a person, place, or thing. We are reluctant to let go. We call to the dead out of desperation and intrigue, searching for answers about what lies behind the shadows. We are paranormal researchers. We are Necromancers. Hello, and welcome to the Necromancer live show. My name is Justin Brown. I am a paranormal researcher who interviews other paranormal researchers on this show to learn from them, to help strengthen the paranormal community, and in the hope to establish some type of level common ground, get on the same page, and hopefully help out in trying to standardize some aspect of what we do when it comes to paranormal research. Now, initially I was going to have Matt Benton on the show. Unfortunately, he could not make it, so I have a quick replacement. And trust me, guys, it's going to be the best I can do for you guys at short notice. We're going to have my tech leader, Derek Schreiner, on the show tonight. So this is what's going to happen, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on the show. See if we can mute his mic. There. All right, Derek. What's going on, buddy?
Not a lot. I just sat down, got in bed, and started going through my emails that I had to catch up on from today.
Well, I appreciate you coming on short notice. I figured you would, unless you were dying or something.
Exactly.
My OCD's kicking here. Let me fix this. Your name. I quickly put your name on here, so it wouldn't say Matt Benton.
Oh.
Yep, sorry, Cheryl. No Matt tonight. He's on the road to California, and he cannot. He tried to stop by somewhere with Wi-Fi. It wasn't good enough. His mobile data's not good enough to stream. So we have a replacement. We won't have Matt on until February of 2018. At least by then the trailer will be out. But hopefully you guys can settle with me and Derek just shooting the breeze here for an hour.
We do that every day.
Yeah, type 2 if you don't want to hear me and Derek shoot the breeze. Type 1 if you don't mind. In the comments, in the chat. We're just gonna put you all on Front Street right now.
Exactly.
All right, Derek. Well, buddy, we are fixing to wrap up 2017 at a pretty cool location. Would you like to tell everybody that might be watching right now where we're going?
Saturday, we're headed to Prospect Place, which we're pretty excited about. I just downloaded some stuff the other night, bookmarked it on the internet to try to do a little additional research into the history and some of the stuff that's been, not really what's been reported, but more of what's actually happened, what they have documentation of with the Underground Railroad aspect of it, the ownership aspect of it, and kind of down up until, I don't want to go too recent because, I'd rather go until right at the point that the place was abandoned. Because I don't want to get too wrapped up in what, other people say has happened or may happen, because that gets in your head a little bit, and you expect that stuff when you walk in there.
Right, like the urban legend stuff.
Oh yeah. You hear a lot of that, and that's the first thing you're thinking of. So if you just go and kind of relate to everything that's associated with the place, from history till the present, where everything just kind of ceased, you can really gain a lot of knowledge and a lot of useful tactics when you go into somewhere like that.
Yeah, one of the things I was wanting to talk to about everybody, but we can just go over when we're there. It's not like we didn't need to micromanage the planning for this. It's going to be pretty laid back. It's not going to be something that we're going to turn into some feature film or anything. It's just going to be a laid back investigation. We got plenty of time for people who would want to spend the time there. We got from 4:30 p.m. until 11 a.m. to the next day, so that's a pretty good amount of time.
Oh yeah, I mean we went out and got everything, bought us an air mattress and some sleeping bags. That way we can stay overnight. Bringing some heaters and some other stuff in a power strip so we can plug some stuff in. And
yep.
Yeah, we definitely plan on making it an all-nighter.
I see Missy back there.
Definitely.
Yeah, she's trying to hide.
I said she should like go up above your shoulder so she kind of looks like she's a parrot.
Oh, that's pretty good.
She should pop up every once in a while and say, "Fuck you."
Oh yeah, she would. At the right moment.
That's funny. So yeah, guys, we're going to go check out a really cool place in Dresden, Ohio, right north of Dresden. It's this little old town that used to be called Trenway, which it still is. And hey guys, I see you in the chat. And it's a super cool place here. I'll get some pictures up here for you while I'm talking about it. But it's built in 1856, and it's registered as a historical location in the state of Ohio and is registered as an official site for the Underground Railroad. And this place, I mean, it's no doubt, it's got the cupola where they used to put the lantern on top and the doors to the basement right out in front where they could just go right in. And this place has me fascinated when it comes to the history. And so yeah, guys, we're gonna go check out.
Now, is the cupola for the lanterns still there?
Is the lantern still there? Is that what you're saying?
Is the actual spot that you can hang it on? Is it still there?
No. There might be hooks, but I can't remember them. Sorry, guys, I got bronchitis. I'm just going to bring up one of my own photos, because this is proving to be a pain in my butt. But while we're talking,
you mentioned that.
For you, some of you guys may already know what it looks like. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to the Interface Death Facebook page and just bring it up there, because I know it's right there. I think I deleted all the originals off my hard drive. I'm getting a new hard drive, but it won't be here till the end of this month or the beginning of December. It sucks. But
what size did you get?
A 4 terabyte. I had to get at least a 4 terabyte. Yeah, I'm running. All this video that we're doing is making me run out of space. I've already deleted more than I would like to. So, what else have you done to prepare for Prospect Place?
Well, yesterday and today, I got everything charged up, ready to go, kind of put where it needs to be so that when everybody comes over for Thanksgiving tomorrow, they're not tripping over stuff laying all over the house. And then I got the truck sitting downstairs. I got to charge up all the batteries to the truck. It's down on my workbench, so it's out of the way. Mm-hmm. But, did the live stream test the other night with the SJ6 4K camera to see how that turned out, which, man, I can't believe how good that thing looked.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, these pictures I took a couple years ago, I'm showing everybody right now.
Cool.
This is I think it's going to be a little bit cloudy, kind of like this, and in the pictures I'm showing. So I kind of like this really low light diffused look. It kind of makes it look a little bit creepier. But this is what it looks like, guys. It's in Dresden, Ohio, built in 1856. Underground Railroad. There's the first urban legend to pop up out of here was it's partly fact, and the end of it's urban legend. What? Can you tell Missy to turn down the live stream? I can hear it in your microphone.
Oh.
And
Turn down the volume.
there was slave hunters would have
He
come
can hear it through
visit
my microphone.
Prospect Place quite often, and they would be
Put in
looking for
headphones.
slaves that would be coming through there, right? So they were looking for one particular slave, and they said, well, no, he's not here, go home. Well, that was fact, but what actually urban legend states is some of the people who worked on the plantation or might have been associated with the family, I can't remember exactly, but they went and tracked down the slave hunter down after he left and drug him into this barn over here. Here, I'll go back to the barn. They drug him into this barn and they hung him. They had a mock trial. Let's see if we can find a picture of where they were supposed. Okay, here's where the slaves went down into the basement, and it's a huge basement. All the rooms have fireplaces, and it's really, really cool. Okay, here's where the legend states that the slave hunter was hung from. There's a beam there. There's a whole second level, and we actually got a growl there 2 years ago. We were trying to have Diana, one of our female investigators, kind of do a little bit of provoking to get him to do something, and we got a growl. Don't know if it was an animal, but it didn't sound like it. So it's very historical inside. I think this is a picture of George Adams here, and they got a whole bunch of relics there in this display case there for you to see, guys, when you get there. And hopefully it's more restored now, because when I was there 2 years ago, it was pretty gutted out. But they still have, pictures of the family members that used to live there, all the stuff that they could salvage as far as the history of the place. And it's a really cool location. When you go there, it feels like you get transported back to in the mid-1800s, legitly transported. And that's what I loved about the place, because there's very few places that do that to me, because there's always some type of, modernization to these places, no matter how well they just,
right,
restore them. But not this place. This place makes you feel like it's actually in the middle of, the 19th century.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to walk into somewhere and actually feel like you've walked through a portal in time to a totally different era.
Yeah, it is cool, dude. Yeah. Now here, the picture they're seeing now, this is one of the urban legends. This cross, there used to be a pentagram there, and some people after this place went abandoned for a long time broke in and started doing stupid satanic cult stuff, okay? And when the historical society took it back over and George Adams started moved back in to try to restore the place, and this is like George Adams the third, I think, the great-great-grandson of the owner, and they painted over it and put this cross to kind of counteract the what type of negative energies may have been residual left where the pentagram was. But now I have people tell me that this cross is no longer there, that it's been painted over completely. But if you people who's watched Ghost Adventures will remember this little picture that they're seeing right here. And this is in the dance hall where they used to have dances. Now this is the cupola, and I know you can't see it, Derek, but there's just windows lining all around it. There's really no, I mean, you see a lamp sitting there, but there's no place where they hung it. They just kind of, maybe they used twine and they they hung it up.
Right.
Right here.
Yeah, because I was thinking.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe if we could find an old style lantern that actually works, taking it and setting it where they might have set one and light it, and see if we could get some type of reaction near the front of the building or the front door or the entryway where the slaves would come in as a trigger object.
Yeah, people try that, and what would be good is someone just go down in the basement by themselves, and we go out there and light a light, see if anything happens.
Yeah, that would be really cool. That would be a really good test for the truck.
Yeah, but the what you're seeing now, guys, this is a door on the second level where the family lived, and there's a legend of a girl who jumped out or accidentally fell out of this door. There used to be a little balcony. There's a legend that she fell out there and died, but we don't know if that's true. And this is a shot looking down the stairs and some badges of the historical registration. This is the basement here. And I'm just going to flip through here real quick, Derek, let them kind of see. This is the well where they used to, there's stories where they stored a body until winter was over so they can actually, do the funeral. But this is the well the slaves would use as well to get water from on their way to Canada and the northern states. And there's a little bit of art there. And here's one of the original things that they tied the horses up with, and I think that's the end. Yep. So there you go, guys. There's a quick little tour. So yeah, everybody, hopefully they're excited. One of the things I was trying to emphasize to everybody is worry less about equipment and collecting data, which we're going to do, but we're going to try to make an effort before we go to connect with what history and what actual things that there is to connect to while we're there, instead of worrying about, I gotta make sure this camera's this and this recorder's that.
Right. Yeah, because I had already kind of made up my mind that not tomorrow, but Friday afternoon, when we get done running around, I was going to have time to try to put as much stuff together as I could before we left. That way I didn't have to worry so much about setting up. I could snap a camera on and plug it into my batteries and go.
Well, we're going to have time. We're not going to rush anything. We're not going to feel like, we need to reach a deadline. So I want it to be laid back. I want it to be fun. It's going to be the last thing we do this year officially, as far as like
right.
a notorious location. I hope it's the last thing we do.
Oh, exactly.
What did Missy say?
I mean,
I have to sleep.
What do you mean? When?
To connect with the place.
Oh, she says she has to sleep to connect with the place.
Yes, Missy is, well, we call her the psychic dreamer, but she has dreams about locations. And part of the research that I'm doing is if people with abilities, can either have premonitions in their dreams or pick up on things at locations that we can correlate with actual things that could happen without them having prior knowledge, then that'd be cool. So if Missy wants to, she can come over by your microphone and she can tell us about the dream she already had.
Did you hear him?
He
said if you want, you can come over here and talk into the microphone and tell him about the dream you've already had. Oh, she said no, she's good.
Thanks anyway.
Yeah, he said thanks anyway. She does not like to be on video or photo.
I understand. It's fine. She just had a dream about something in the basement, and I can't remember what she described. So, but I didn't look for what she described. But before we go, she said that there was a little crawl space where you can crawl and get to another secret room. So we're going to try to see if there's such a place at Prospect Place when we go Saturday. But Josh will be flying his drone, and man, I'm going to turn my mic down. I'm peaking really bad. There we go. Josh is going to be flying his drone.
Yeah, it is fixed 100%.
Yep, he's got a new one, a new gimbal, and then he's got a second drone that he fixed with a stationary gimbal. So we're going to be doing some drone shots, get you some really cool drone shots of the place. We're going to do a little bit of I'm going to try to get him to do a 4K tour in the morning after we do some drone stuff. But the rest of it's primarily just going to be 1080p. We're going to try to do like a 30-minute documentary. 30 to 40 minutes, depending on what we get. But we'll try to cap off 2017 the right way by giving you this cool location, letting you see the place. We're not going to just highly edit some place, let you see some dusty corner and crappy infrared, and that's all you get to see. We're going to let you see the whole place in detail. You know, most videos when they go there, they don't really show you every single thing about the place. So that's definitely something I want to do for the guys that follow us that are interested in that, because I know a lot of people just watch shows just to see what the place looks like.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, because now that I know that new camera will hook in through my phone, and I know it'll hook in through yours to be able to do the live stream aspect. We could probably use it to give them a little better resolution.
I won't be
on a daytime live
I won't be
stream.
able to until I get that adapter, Derek. So I'll just do 720p, which is fine.
Yeah.
We
Well,
are
yeah, I did notice when I ran the program the other night, it would only let me do 720p, which kind of sucked.
Mm-hmm. The reason that is, Derek, is you're using an external device that's coming out of the USB. USB is only 720. It does not let you do 1080. That's why you need that expensive adapter. And that'll convert it to 1080 at 60.
Nice.
Now, on YouTube, you can use your phone camera. Your camera on your phone, only on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So if you want to stream with Camera-Fi to YouTube, you can use your camera on your phone. But you can't do that on Facebook.
Gotcha.
And you can do 1080p that way.
Nice. Yeah, you know, it's crazy how much limitations Facebook puts on you when it comes to video.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, their platform is not as beefy as YouTube's.
No.
But YouTube's been doing it longer than Facebook.
Oh, yeah, by far.
So, guys, in the chat, is there any questions that you have for me or Derek about what we're doing, what's to come next year? Because we're already making plans for next year. And I'll already let you know, we're having 1080p night vision coming. I'm going to spend hundreds of dollars just for an adapter and a brand new mobile device, and that's going to cost me another $700. So if you guys love us and you want to support us, there is a super chat button right here on the chat, or there is a Patreon link at the top right hand corner or in the description of this video. You can donate and support us that way, because we've already spent, Josh Bender's already spent some money already. And between me, Derek, Josh, and maybe some others in the group, we're going to drop some dough. And we're going to bring hopefully two 4K documentaries, okay? We're not going to release where, but we know for sure where one of them's going to be, and this place is cool. It's not a well-known location, but it's a cool location. So I want us to have the best documentary that's been done there. And there's already a few of them out, but I've actually have the place that we're going to plan on doing it on our YouTube channel already. But this one we're going to actually release on Blu-ray and do it in 4K. And hopefully that happens.
Oh, it will definitely happen.
Sam wants to know when we're going to send her a plane ticket. Never. It's not going to happen.
When they send us plane tickets in return.
Yes. I can barely afford gas to get to freaking town. That's how bad it is for me. So, did you work a different shift today?
Yeah, I had to work. Well, we went in at 10. Was supposed to work 10 to 6:30, but we ended up getting done earlier, so I got out of there right around 4:35 or something like that, and then I had to take one of the guys I work with home because he don't have a car. So I've been running him, picking him up, bringing him in, and then taking him home. So now I got to sit in rush hour interstate traffic. It kind of sucked.
Yeah. I can understand that.
It was nice going in early. It kind of screws up my mojo on Fridays, but it's nice to be able to come home and actually have my evening.
Yeah. Well, what we plan on doing next year, there's some new things I want to try. There's a lot of people that ask me if I'll do public ghost hunts again. So I'm thinking about maybe doing one and seeing how it goes. I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but doing something like that takes time out of our schedule and it costs a lot of money. So if it's not worth our while to do, we just can't do it. Okay. So if we can get enough interest, if you're in the Ohio region and you are close enough to travel to somewhere in that vicinity, there is locations we can go to that we don't have to charge a crap ton for. Um, Post-town Elementary School is one of them. I've done
Yes, I
public
don't think it's
locations there before, and it's affordable. And I know if Nikki is still in the chat, I know she's been going there quite a bit, and it is haunted.
Mhm.
But it's not like one of those scary, super dark hauntings. It's a school, so it provides you a little bit of a different type of haunting that is not typical, and I like that because you try to understand all different types of hauntings, and there's not just one cookie cutter one.
Right.
So we might do that. Okay. Another thing we're going to do is more events, public events. We're going to try to do that. That's also very expensive. So we that's why I plugged the crap out of our Patreon and ways to support us, because there's only so much we can do out of pocket. You know, if we can get the support from our followers and if they think we're worth it, then we can do a lot more and it'll be cooler. We are upgrading the website, which is going to cost, double what I'm usually, paying for. So we can have people buy our documentaries straight
Right.
off the website. They don't have to buy a physical DVD if they don't want to. So it'll be cheaper and easier for people. But if you want the DVD, you can. You can have it.
Right.
And we're going to be doing a lot of tutorial stuff. This whole winter, on our downtime, you're going to be seeing free tutorial courses, and then we're going to offer paid ones. One of the paid ones we're going to do is how we do our 1080 live stream through our full spectrum and infrared cameras. And I'm gonna have that part of our paid content, because that will be allowing our competition know what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
So if we're going to give you guys all that information, we're going to have to ask a little bit in return, and it's not going to be much. Just to rent the tutorial or to subscribe to the tutorial channel will be like, I think on the website you have to pay for it monthly. But you can cancel your subscription after a month if you watch all the videos, and you can just get them all that way. But it'll be worth your while. It won't be very expensive at all. It'll be pretty cheap, but it'll be a little bit of revenue. Hopefully, I don't expect a lot of people to pay for that, but the ones that are serious and hardcore about wanting to learn how to live stream with mobile devices and POV cams and high definition cameras, they will want to do that. And people ask me that quite often. But not everybody like us can afford to pay for tutorials. But there's just not a lot of content out there that offer the information for free. So that's why I'm going to do that.
Right. It'd be nice to put that out there, because it's stuff that is truly educational for people, instead of the stuff that I've seen pitched online. And a lot of the store, like the Ghost Hunter store, Ghost Stop, and some of the others where people are buying equipment, they're putting these classes up and charging people, $59, $159 to take a class. And it's a demonology 101 and all this stuff. And there's those classes you pay for, and they're nothing.
Nope.
You win nothing.
This is how our public event is going to go, guys. You're going to listen to me lecture you about photography. You're going to hear me lecture you about all the technical stuff that goes into it. You're not going to hear me teach you stuff that's not standardized and just theory and just what people's opinions are. Okay, just getting a photography class from me is going to be way more beneficial than me trying to tell you what I think how EVPs exist. Okay, now I can teach you audio engineering and ways to apply audio engineering to that type of research, but I want you guys to be thinking on your own and be learning all the technical knowledge about, EVP research. I'm not going to tell you that an RRDR60 is the best recorder to use. That's actually the worst recorder ever to use. I would rather use a piece of yarn and 2 bean cans to record EVP than that fucking shit. It's the most horrible thing you can possibly
Yeah,
think of.
there was one of those went up for sale on Facebook the other day. The dude wanted, I think it was $bucks. And I was like, really? And somebody will pay that for it because they're oblivious to what it really does.
Yes. It's already in paranormal pop culture on TV. It's amazing that people pay $1,000 or more for it, which is bad. So one of the things that we're going to offer on our website is those tutorials, and if you go to one of our public events, we'll be giving that information along with your ticket price, a condensed version, because most people are going to want to know, what it's like to be in the location and investigate it themselves. So we're not going to, overload it with being stuck in a classroom.
Can we try that?
Right.
You're welcome, Nikki.
Try what?
2 bean cans and a string.
Oh, she said, can we try the 2 bean cans on a string thing and see if it produces anything?
It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work at all.
Real EVP is so rare. I mean, it's so rare. I mean, if you have the proper audio equipment to actually validate something like that, it's extremely rare.
Right.
People would be like,
I would really like to.
Go ahead.
I would really like to get together and me, you, and Josh, all 3 kind of put our heads together and maybe get a game plan to possibly fabricate some of the devices that are being used by like some of Robert Veitch's ideas and some of the other stuff that we can actually build without having to buy and maybe do it. Because to me, I figure a lot of stuff, if you build it by hand, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. It may not be a lot cheaper, but it's going to be a little bit cheaper than buying it.
Yes.
And you're going to know what's in it, well, what you put in it. So there's no question when somebody says, well, I'm not sure about that. Well, you can stand back and say, well, I'm pretty sure because this is what we put in it. This piece, and this piece.
Right. A lot of people spend lots of money on, say, EMF detectors. You can go buy a compass for $1 and bring it to an investigation, and you're going to detect a anomalous magnetic field with that. So, low-tech stuff like that, I mean, bringing a little bell for them to manipulate and ring, putting the little bells on doors that can open or things, like that, like Scott used to do. He used to bring baby powder and sprinkle it on the ground to see if he can get footsteps. I mean,
right.
Just low-tech stuff like that is way more effective than some of the stuff people are spending $1,000 on.
Oh, for sure.
Rachel Scott asks, what does it... I'm sorry, Derek. Rachel Scott asks, what does it really do that is bad? I don't know anything about that stuff. What are you asking about, the RRDR60 or something else? I don't want to assume that that's what you're talking about. And there's a good, at least a 15-second at least delay, so... While we're waiting on her to validate what she's talking about, yeah. Nikki says exactly, but I know the compass at Walmart is $4.97. Yeah, it may be. You may want to buy.
It is. I bought one.
Yeah, it may be more than $1, but you get my point. It's exponentially cheaper to buy a compass than it is to buy a tri-field or a mel meter or a dark matter meter for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found that out the hard way.
We all have, Derek. We all learn through trial and error and through experience, and that's what we offer. We don't just like wake up one day and be like, "Hey, look, I know what the hell I'm talking about, and you should listen just because I said."
Oh, exactly.
So yeah, once we figure out what Rachel is asking about, I think she might be talking about the Panasonic recorder, but I'm not. Yeah, the DR60. So here's the thing. 20 years ago, Rachel, Panasonic released a keychain recorder called the Panasonic RRDR60. Its purpose was to do quick, voice-activated only recordings to reference as notes, and as a quick little way to record stuff in a portable way. Okay, it was actually a keychain recorder. The frequency response and the recording quality is horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's like the worst thing that you can find, if you can find one, that you could record with. That's the number one thing that's the problem with. When you, if you just go, put the recorder next to your clothes and go like this, that's going to sound like Satan screaming. Okay? That's how bad it is. That little sound you make is going to sound like, yeah. It's going to sound like that. And along with that, it's going to make internal noises that the microphone picks up, and that's going to sound anomalous to you. Okay, it's going to record the actual internal mechanisms inside. There could be beeping, it could be weird interference, it could be anything like that. And there's an actual glitch. There's a couple glitches. One of the main glitches is you'll get like this screaming sound come over the recorder, and that's an internal flaw in the device. And also you'll get ghost recordings from other recordings that you made that didn't completely delete off your flash memory. So when they first come out with this recorder, people were returning them, saying, hey, look, this is junk. So they recalled it. Okay. So now EVP researchers, they've gotten a hold of this device, and when they do their recordings, the things that they can't explain that are there, it's automatically an EVP. There's no other explanation to them other than what the manufacturer is already released and published to the public, that it has flaws. The same thing with the SLS camera. Okay, the SLS Connect has the same internal flaws, and people use them improperly. They use them handheld, pan them around, and the SLS camera is the same thing. It gives you false positives, and it's bad. And it's because people don't understand. Let me catch up with these comments. Yeah, Nikki says people return them. The Paranormal pays $1,800 for them. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. If Zach Bagans held a recorder between his ass cheeks, people would pay for that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me.
Oh yeah.
Missy, what would Missy pay for a handheld recorder held in between Zach Bagans' ass cheeks? Just ask her real quick.
What would you pay for a digital recorder that was held between Zach Bagans' ass cheeks?
That's like priceless.
She said that is priceless.
Give me a number.
I would have to get like a third job. I'll bet you she would jump all over that for probably over a couple grand, and then it would be in a frame and collect dust.
She'd be donating kidneys and stuff.
Well, hell yeah, she'd sniff it as soon as she got it.
She'd be like, ah. All right. Well, I don't.
Well, see, she told me that you ruined Zach Bagans for her forever after sending her the Wheel of Fortune video.
She should feel ruined. She should feel dirty, slutty, and ruined.
He's getting on you now. Oh.
Yeah, guys. So if you want to learn how to actually use the equipment properly, take photography classes. Learn about photography. Just the basics alone will allow you to explain and debunk and understand a lot of the anomalies that arise in the optics of the camera, especially with flash photography. audio engineering, learning basic, audio engineering skills and information is huge. Uh, how to operate your cameras, how to operate microphones and recording equipment, how to use scientific methods, how to use critical thinking, how to find other possible explanations for things before you
Hawaii?
you get to the point where you can't explain something. And even at the point when you can't explain something, it does not mean that it's supernatural. What do you think, Derek?
I totally agree. I mean, I thought in a short amount of time, just in setting up uh, the cameras, setting up the photo equipment, setting up and putting together audio equipment, and being able to actually use it and know what it's doing while you're using it, and how to do it to where you're not going to create something that isn't there. Um, really watching your surroundings so that you're not bumping into stuff and really screwing up what you're trying to do. Um, I the scientific method part of it is what just gets me, because there's so much stuff out there that can be tried. I'm still chomping at the bit to get some field tests under our belts with the big glass box that I got sitting downstairs. Once I can get it to seal.
I want to talk
But
about the glass box. Tell everybody what the
it's
glass
glass.
box is.
It's
It's a fish tank.
yeah, it's a fish tank. It's a homemade cloud chamber that started out. Let's see, the first three versions were made out of plexiglass, which we found did not hold up to the high concentration alcohol that we were squirting in there. And then the vapors were deteriorating the plexiglass. It would crack after about 4 uses, which kind of bummed me out. Yeah, I mean, I have actually found a polycarbonate sheet that we can use that's resistant. The only problem is that it is very expensive.
Yeah, there's the money problem again.
Yeah, a 4x8 sheet at a quarter-inch thick is $265. One sheet.
Yikes. Yeah,
I
that's
can get
not
glass
good.
cheaper.
That is not good.
No.
So the
But yeah,
cloud chamber. Okay, go ahead, Derek.
we started on the cloud chamber. We joined a team, and I remember you actually threw the idea out at the Elliott Hotel, if I remember correctly. Um,
Mm.
you were talking about it, and it was kind of like, that's a neat idea. And then once we got to talking about it again, I got to looking it up, and I watched some of the videos, some of the stuff that people put together, and it was like, man, I can make that.
Right.
And it took off from there with some tweaks and some different things.
All right. Well, let's elaborate. I'm gonna show them an image here. Okay. And when I captured this image, what you're looking at is an enhanced, I brightened up this image that was taken from a cell phone in 2014 at a place called Moonville Tunnel, which is in Benton County, Ohio, very close to Athens, Ohio. And there's a story of a train conductor or somebody who used to hold a lantern to try to stop the trains because there was a smallpox epidemic and they would they wouldn't stop at the mining town because they didn't want to die of smallpox, so they kept going. Well, there used to be guys that used to go out there to flag them down because they were starving. The only way to get supplies would to be from the train stopping to supply them. So they would and all the way from 1889, I believe, was the first report of this white misty cloaked figure. And people would see this. Train conductors, reputable people, everybody would see this. Now, what you're looking at is like a white blob, okay? But there should be nothing there. Now, I cannot find an explanation for that, but it's so grainy after I brightened it up, it's not clear cut. So it could be something That's not what I think it is. But what it could be is an apparition. So here's where the cloud chamber comes in. The cloud chamber, what it does is it will allow you to see ionizing radiation in our atmosphere that strips the electrons off of the gas, the condensed gas, alcohol vapor, and it will manifest into like a streak. And I'll show you. Okay, let's see if we can get to it here. Okay. What you do is you get this container with dry ice and put it on the bottom. Here, I'll make this a little better to see. And you got to get this real cold, and you put like this glass aquarium on top of it, right? And you seal it up really good. And you get the top lid and you soak it with high concentrated alcohol, as you see here. And once you soak it down really good and you put the glass plate on top, you get a really bright light. And in the video, they're using a projector with a slide with a slit. And right along the bottom, you can see the vapor forming because of the cold. And see the streaks here? That's ionizing radiation from the sun, like, you know, muons and other types of radiation manifesting in the alcohol vapor. So the theory is, if spirits have magnetic fields associated with them, the magnetic field lines will draw these particles in. And if the magnetic field lines have this, you know, certain type of geometry or property where it can, joins together, these ionizing particles that you see here on the footage will be trapped in the magnetic field. So we'll see the manifestation. Now, I've seen things with my eyes that look like this, but it's rare. Okay? But the theory is, if the magnetic field theory is true, then you will be able to see this type of phenomena form within the manifestation itself. Now, to build one big enough to get, a ghost-sized image in is going to cost a lot because we can't use dry ice. It only cools the vapor along the bottom. Okay?
Right.
So we're going to have to get here, let me get Derek back here. We're going to have to get a liquid nitrogen cooling system and run the lines inside of this huge chamber, like a 6-7 foot tall chamber, so it could cool down the whole volume of the chamber.
Right.
And that's going to cost us, and that's going to take a lot of trial and error to build. So,
because so far what I've found, just on the cooling system alone to build that, is the copper piping is the cost in its own because it's copper, but then you can't just shoot directly from a tank of liquid nitrogen and fill the pipe due to the fact that it's not going to keep it'll be cold for a short amount of time, and then it's going to warm up because of the ambient temperature outside. So you actually have to get a pumping system with a control panel that you can cycle. And what it'll do is it'll shoot it in and then draw it back out the other side, and it'll keep it cycled cold for you. And I've seen a couple, and you can have them made, because most of them you have to buy from industrial companies or actual custom make companies. And they're right around, I think the cheapest model I've seen was like $685. Wow. And it's really small.
Yeah. So it may not even work for the application we need it for.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of trial and error.
Oh, yeah.
I think if we can put the smaller model that I've got into the field and actually get something that to us we can stand back and say, yeah, that would validate it and make it more sensible, and it's actually something appears that should appear based on the theory, then we go bigger.
Right. Now, if we can prove that hypothesis and, turn it into a theory, that would be a huge step. And the reason why I think this is important in our research is nobody's willing to go that mile. Now, the good reason is people can't afford this normally on people's budgets. because we're looking at probably something that's going to cost a couple grand at the end of the day, not counting the trial and error cost.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of people that follow us, I would like to, I want to get more feedback, and I know Paul Browning is in here, and I know I've talked to Robert Veach about the cloud chamber. I really want the techie guys and the science guys to know what, I'm trying to do, and if they have any feedback for us, that maybe kind of some insight or, any feedback at all would be great, because we are doing a lot of trial and error on this already. I think Derek spent well over $500 already on the prototypes that he's been working with, and I don't.
Yeah, I mean
I don't like that,
it's
but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean the trial and error part's kind of a pain because we had it going and then it broke, and then we had it going again and it broke, and then we had it going again, and then the night that we brought it out to your place and it didn't work, that's what really threw me off, because it was like, wait a minute, it worked perfectly when we set it up the last time.
Well, you changed
and
the
then
plate.
when we got it home, and changing the plate, aluminum doesn't work. Figured that out, so I went back to steel. I've changed some stuff on the base to where, with the foam insulation, now I've got silver covered bubble wrap that's supposed to contain the cold a little better all the way around the insulation. That way the cold will actually hopefully radiate a little more to try to get. I want to try to get it as high up as I can with the dry ice.
Yeah, Sam, as she says, seems if everyone could put their senses together, we could put a few questions at rest. Yes, that's what I want to do on the show. I kind of want to take my ideas and communicate it with other guests, and just so they know that someone thought it up if they didn't think it up, and maybe consider it. Maybe they'll think, well, maybe that's a stupid idea, or that's a good idea, or maybe that's something that I could consider in the future. The problem with the paranormal research now is not only is it limited by the resources or lack thereof people have when it comes to affording things to do proper research, it's also lacks standardized practices and methodologies and protocols. And you got thousands and thousands of people doing thousands and thousands of different things different ways, and that's not research. That you cannot get replicated data or any kind of data that you can apply to developmental theories or to develop them. So that's the problem that we face. And Rachel Scott says,
you've got scientists.
Yeah, go ahead.
You've got scientists from NASA and the government, all kinds of government agencies that are dead set against anything paranormal. They put out articles out all the time saying how all the theories that are out there are bogus. There's no such thing. But to me, when you read some of this stuff, they're not willing to really put money forward,
right, to
help with the actual research and to prove that they're right or we're right.
Mm-hmm.
Putting this kind of stuff out there would really, if we could validate something and put it out there and get one phone call, just one scientist from anywhere to call up and say, hey, I think you're onto something here. It can open so many doors.
Yeah, just to put legitimate check marks next to things like this hypothesis is correct, or we have a lot of good data and supporting evidence that it's correct, or that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You can put a check mark by it, because a lot of people out there, they're doing stuff they can't put check marks by. That they'll use all these ITC devices, but they don't know how they work. If they work, they don't know how they work.
Right.
So that's not paranormal research. That's not scientific research at all. And I've learned that in the last 5 years. So this is what we're interested in doing, and I think that in the long run it'll pay off, at least to us. Now, will it ripple out into the paranormal community and hopefully into the scientific community? I don't know. We'll have to see. But do you have anything to add? It's been an hour, so I want to kind of wrap things up. I appreciate it, buddy, for you to come on here and to fill the void because Matt couldn't make it.
Oh, that's no problem at all. I mean, I have no problem helping out.
So, is there anything else that you want to add before we leave, or?
Well, I just want to throw out there that anybody that's watching, listening, or even if they watch it later on, um, reach out if you've got an idea, something you want to see tried that that you think we can accomplish. Um, let us know. Throw it out there. We'll get back with you and tell you, hey, yeah, we'll try this. It sounds like a good idea. Um, if anybody's got anything, hit us up because I think there's a lot of ideas that are out there that people are probably afraid to bring up or that don't bring up that can be tried. And it'd be nice to get some more ideas and collaborate and be able to say, yeah, this person said this. We went out in the field and tried it and it worked or it didn't work to kind of just help everybody out.
Right. Sam says she believes that science has nothing to do with the paranormal. And I have to completely disagree with that. And I'll tell you why. People that say that use science to pursue it all the time. They'll pull out their cell phones and they'll try to record it. You're actually using science to do that. Okay? Any type of measurement or any type of recording or documentation using something built by physics and science is using science to do it. If you see light emanating or bouncing off it and hitting your retina in your eye, and it's being transmitted as visual data by your brain, that's science as well. And the reason why that's science is a way to explain or understand the measurements and functionality of things and the physics of things. So if it's happening in our reality, in our existence, it has to abide by laws that physics underlines and describes. Now, the actual definition of paranormal is something that lies outside the understanding, scientific explanation. But I think that's a misconception, in my opinion. And the reason why I think it's a misconception is it's because we don't know how to apply science to it yet. There's so many factors and so many things that we don't understand about it. We don't know how to, come up with some type of list of protocols or methods to predict when it's going to happen or measure what the phenomena is. But that's, people like me and Derek, we're the people that's trying to figure that out. If you're using a camera or recorder to try to document the type of energy going on, whether it's photons entering a sensor or if it's acoustic energy or, compression waves in our atmosphere hitting a transducer or a microphone, that's science and that's physics. So people who think that science can't explain that should learn more about science and how it works. And I'll leave it there. Thanks a lot, Derek, for joining us. Tune in next Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST. Hopefully there's no problems with getting that guest on. We have Patricia Coleman, okay? And she's a definitely interesting character in the paranormal that I have not yet talked to at all. So it'll be very interesting to talk with Patricia next Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST. I'm going to go ahead and let you go off here, Derek. If you want to hang around to after the show, you can. If not, you can go ahead and hang up, but I'm going to go ahead and switch scenes, buddy.
Cool.
Thanks again for watching, guys. I'm sorry that Matt couldn't make it, and we kind of had to, have Derek fill in, but he's good like that. I love him to death. He's become one of my best friends over the course of this year, and I'm really lucky to have him. And I wanted, it was cool to chat with him and let you guys get to know him more. So hopefully we can have him on the show more and more, and we can start doing other videos and content together on this channel so you can get to know him more. But we got Patricia Coleman coming in next week. We're going to give you the plug. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. The social media plugs. If you would like to support what we do, here, let me mute his mic. If you'd like to support what we do, you can go to Patreon. The link is in the cards in the top right-hand corner or in the description of this video. It's a monthly pledge that you can. It could be $1. It can be more than that. You'll have to go to the link to see what kind of rewards you can get for the donations that you give us each month. So if you would like to do that, that is there. Check Necromancer Live Show Facebook page out. And check out Interface Death on Twitter and on Instagram. We got a lot of cool photos. And on Twitter, you can keep up to date with everything we do as well. We always shout out our patrons at the end of the show. We have Matt Benton, who was supposed to be on the show tonight but did not make it. We wish him luck on his way to California. He's got a film coming out called Man vs. Paranormal, as a lot of you may know. And hopefully he'll have a trailer done by the time he is back on the show. So we'll look forward to that. And we have Clay Borman, which is an awesome paranormal researcher from New Jersey. And he's going to have some kids come on the show later this year. He actually runs a youth program that's a paranormal youth program where he teaches and educates teenagers on how to investigate the paranormal the right way. Okay? So I am very much looking for that. But Clay Borman's awesome. And guys, I love you all. I appreciate every one of you guys' support. Thanks for coming on and hanging out and chatting with us. Thanks, Nikki. Nikki says it was a great show. Thanks. It's kind of, I had to save it. Sam says, yes, it was, Nikki. Love Justin's shows. I appreciate Sam 100%. Great follower, great supporter. Thanks, Derek. Nikki says, thanks, Derek. Thank you, Justin. You all, and everyone here in the chat, have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful night. And Rachel says happy Thanksgiving as well. You guys eat lots of turkey and lots of pie, okay? And if you want to hang out, you'll see some of our promotional stuff. And I'll leave it there, guys. You're in my hearts. I'll see you next time.